Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the first game in the winners finals of the DM Revival Cup, and in the blue color, this is Volt playing as Gaia here on Blue Lagoon, completely unexpected, going very forward by the way with these villagers. And on the other side, we have got Yoshi in the red color playing as 4. Some would say that's his best god. I think I tend to lean that direction myself. Now, these Ulfsarks are setting up the back TC with a little bit of Longhouse SimCity action. As for the front, it's got a slightly higher number of units going that way, including Frost Giants. Volt already picking up some relics, and he's also kind of spreading out, same as Yoshi. Not really falling up, but rather just placing the buildings in a formation so that it helps with the pathing. Right, the Eye of Ornu, that's good for Cairo Ballista. Gaia doesn't have anything for Cairo Ballista, so every little bit counts, right? Good to see Striker in the chat, asking how I'm doing. I'm okay, I'm not feeling 100% though. Not feeling 100%, it's not been the best week for me health-wise, but we're getting there. So we got Lampades from Volt, which means Hecate, which means Tartarian Gates, which means potential Lampade bombs already converting the Frost Giant, of course, but will fall to the heroes. Now Yoshi towering up this town center, reducing the surface area to any melee units, and of course, the towers of 4 are pretty good anyways. Now, there is a chance that Volt will be able to plop down a Carnivora, and this Mormillo is a little bit slowing down the TC's progress. It's not gonna deny it, but it's gonna keep these Ulfsarks here for a long time if Yoshi doesn't react. Great move with the raiding cavalry going after the Cairo Ballista. That's some expensive takedowns, and as long as Yoshi also runs away, it's going to be a great trade. It's an okay trade if he loses the raiding cav. They're also not that cheap, right? But yeah, the TC is almost done. Yoshi's fighting with half the army. We've got the throwing axeman of Skadi. That's Hunter's Axe is buffing them 20% there. And Volt is attempting to get out some onagers. Very interesting to see. But it's gonna be too little too late, as I think this TC just finishes up. The Fire Giant could take care of the onager, but Volt is very carefully microing this. The shot is, however, too late. That's unfortunate. It's just a few seconds as well. Now Yoshi's attempting to do some side builds, and Volt's wall is actually not finished. The TC will be though, and that's maybe just all that matters. Already starting up on the gold gathering, but Yoshi is going for even more side builds. Volt, however, does spot it somehow. 6th sense maybe. Have these guys been practicing is another question from Striker. Yes. Well, they've been playing the tournament for the most part, and I know they play on and off. I just don't see them play a lot against each other, so it's always very fascinating to see them clash like this. Now, both players are making it to 3 TCs rather uncontested, and we've got this one front fight with Yoshi trying to work the sides a little bit. Going forward with Ulfsarks, as well as hers here. Did Volt get the second relic? What was that? The Trios Bow. That's very nice. So the Cairo Ballista, as well as the Arcus, will be gaining +2 range from that thing. And we've got the Behemoth, which are actually, I think, a free unit in this case. I don't think Volt actually made one because he has so many Lampades. But yeah, what happens here is that the DM patch has changed the Raya attack so that it doesn't just reduce freaking favor cost of upgrades, which is absolutely garbage, but rather it and useless in DM anyway, because you have all the upgrades already, so it doesn't do anything. But even in Supremacy it's garbage. Anyway, what we changed that to was to spawn a Behemoth for free every few minutes. I think it's every 3 minutes, so it's pretty meaningful. Now, trying to hold against this infantry onslaught again, Volt has some walling, and these anti-walls are pretty potent, might I add. We've got the portable rams coming in from Yoshi. Those have also been buffed, so they're rather potent. The Lampades is regenerating through this throwing axe and fire, but it's a little bit too many of them. And it looks like the side build is gonna win by 9 HP on this throwing axeman, so it can restart the work. We've got so many frost giants. It seems that Volt has lost all the Lampedes. And now the ramps are getting on top of the TC. The Carnivora is being used on the fence. Volt is having to save that citizen somehow. But yeah, the kitchen knife shanks on the ramps as effective as ever. Looking good, but what is Volt going to do from here? He'll need to at least use Trader on something, I feel. Because he's not winning these frontal fights, not at all. Looks like the throwing axeman is finally being cleaned up, giving Volt the opportunity to maybe wall up. There's the Trader on a Frost Giant, looking good. These Frost Giants will be regenerating. That's also a change in the DM patch, that if you have a Traitor unit, Mythic Rejuvenation now works, which is incredible. So you get these regenerating Frost or Fire Giants, very nice in this matchup for sure. You can keep them safe for a long time, but Volt sends them a little bit too forward. I think this one might fall. Oh, 1 HP! And minus something HP. Yikes. Alright, Yoshi looking really solid, economically speaking as well. I mean, he's got the income. I don't mean that he's got the gold right now. This is an investment, okay? So he's putting his own gold into dwarves right now, which is really the priority most of the time. A little bit of wood, because you have to keep making these Boxviger, Ballista, Ram, whatever, as well as the Huskarl, of course. But Volt is doing great at taking down these hill forts. I love what he's doing there. Some great progress. I don't think he can take the side build whatsoever here, but it's a distraction. It slows Yoshi down. It slows Yoshi down, stopping him from like building a tower spam here or something nasty like that. It's all good. It's all good. And we've got Tartarian Gate, so Volt can definitely make some progress here. The Ballista are still in good numbers, you know, like the Cairo Ballista kind of gets wrecked by them, in fact, if you can shift like focus fire, whatever. That's all good business. The Fanatics have made it through. There's a gap in the wall! Oh no. Well, Yoshi is in a little bit of trouble as Volt is building up here. We could imagine some Atlantean docks. And the behemoths just keep coming. This is the second one, also a free unit. Well, technically a third one. You get one immediately as you advance, right? So there's that. Alright, the Fire Siphon will finally start working on this hill fort. But Volt isn't making progress on the main front. I'm curious will he be using Tartarian Gate. He kind of needs to use it before Yoshi is comfortable with the Ragnarok, right? And the way this trade is going, we're looking currently at 33 caravans already. So Yoshi's kind of getting into the territory where it's like, okay, let's stop this auto queue. We've got enough now. We need that big Ragnarok, right? Which means we need a lot of workers. If we have too many caravans, you do not have a lot of workers. But maybe, just maybe, Yoshi is saying, oh, you know what? We're just gonna build this big economy. We're gonna delete some caravans once we have a gold bank, and then we will make those workers. And until then, we'll just make a big army with caravans, with a handful of villagers, not really maxing out. As for the economic and military pop comparison, Volt is significantly ahead at 91 military pop versus just 63 of Yoshi. Very interesting. Tartarian Gate is finally getting used, deleting some of these longhouses by the side TC. This is not a good time for Yoshi to Ragnarok whatsoever. And Trader is getting used on the front, taking a portable ram. Very good idea. Of course, it's not gonna have the Baldur upgrades, but it's got the rest. But which is just one upgrade really. The Dwarven Augur, very useful, but you know, this is a nice little addition here to Volt's army. And he's starting to do some major crush damage to the fortified TC. Also, the Tartarian spawn is starting their work on Yoshi's caravans and whatnot, but there are rams now working here. They're not gonna be able to do this as the Tartarian spawns are, of course, taking care of it. Yoshi's TC stays up, quite comfortably so, I might add. Frost Giant gets converted, but that just resets his cooldown and gets the other Lampade frozen. Oh my. Of course, Volt is just gonna make some Arcus and take this thing down real quick before the Lampades dies. That's all pretty clean stuff. A few more shots go through. Carnivora abuse on the villagers. Love it. Wait, the Carnivora still can't eat villagers, can it? That's something for the next year's DM patch. We have to find a Carnivora buff every patch. Alright, I like the addition of the Catapulties. Not only are they fast because he went Oceanus here, so he has Weightless Mace. This gives him speed and hack damage, but they're also taking care of the Raiders, they're taking care of the Siege, they're dodging the Archer shots. It's a good idea, but we're on a big Arcus army, and that can't break bases. This Fire Siphon was on the other side. I'd say we're talking, but I don't think Volt is gonna make much progress right meow. Although maybe he will. Yoshi actually down to 147 pop. This might be a good time to use Frost, to be completely honest. Oh, he's making a Ragnarok army. He's doing it. Right meow. He just waited to pop. Gonna repair this, gonna take down the Fire Siphon. Almost no issues at all whatsoever with that. He's got a significant gold bank. He's just gonna go with the smaller Ragnarok. So this is 56 euros. It was a bit more. I assume it was like 60 when he clicked. But yeah, Volt is just retreating through his towers now. So that's looking rather good. But that's a lot of Rag heroes coming in suddenly. All of these on the front line will absolutely die. But this next wave is looking good. Gonna take down the palace, oh, I like the trader on the ram once again, taking away from Yoshi's army there, and getting the frost giant as well. So Volt just deleted 7 pop in the space of a few seconds from this Ragnarok, and that's a permanent damage right now, right? Because Yoshi will have to re-establish his economy off of just his gold income, and he's got a good gold bank, so he can just queue up the... Oh my god. You can just queue up the dwarfs from each TC. That is 52 caravans, ladies and gentlemen. So this Ragnarok is not going to make much headway here. However, it's entirely possible Yoshi can get a side build going here, as Volt actually hasn't spammed buildings down. Volt likes to play on a small economy. He's got these 15 citizens right now, and that allows him to kind of maximize his overall population. His caravan count is looking good, and the Gaia caravans are really fast and efficient, but they're also kind of dying here if the Ragnarok heroes are gonna stay alive. So that's 27 Atlantean caravans right now. Volt has won the fight against the Ragnarok, and he's still pushing. Yoshi is gonna have trouble cleaning this up, but he has these champion raiders. They have Sons of Sleipnir doing massive bonus against archers, and of course they have the bonus against siege as well, so very useful. And exactly as I said, Yoshi will be building up the longhouses in the back here, but the fanatics are on the prowl, and they're looking to take these boys down. If Volt can re-wall this, that would be fantastic news for him. He has one more trader available, so maybe that Fire Giant is a good target over there. The Fire Siphon is getting taken down really quickly. We've got a Frost. Even if he traders that Fire Giant, though, that's not enough damage to take down the TC, I don't think. It's got 500 health. So yeah, that's staying for the moment. Looks like Yoshi might be able to pump out some units, but the Fnatic wins the 1v1. Trader's being used on... I don't even know what it's being used on. Okay, a ram. So Volt is feeling rather confident he can hold this spot after the frost expires, of course. Yoshi coming forward to nuke that Fire Siphon. Of course, we'll be meeting Lampades, and I'm still really surprised we haven't seen... Oh my god, that's not Lampades, that's Behemoths. And Volt actually made them himself, so he can take down these markets. He's gonna probably wall this up, maybe place some towers in there, and that's gonna be really annoying because it's not enough to just rebuild your market and fight the buildings. No, you have to clear the buildings first. This is Gaia. It's gonna be lush to prevent you from building. Don't think these Fire Siphons will make it there. So Volt's army is feeling a little small now that he's spreading thin. Yoshi's getting a dock up, oh boy. And the Fanatics are not particularly great against throwing axemen. They don't get their multiplier. So many idle caravans. Oh my goodness, Yoshi. too much stuff. Needs to cut down these trees so that they can path. Otherwise, this little gap is gonna become dangerous over time, actually. But yeah, super nice game. So many multi-pronged attacks. Volt has 4 Lampades now. I wanna see those bad girls in the trade. Convert some of those caravans, but Volt is using them pretty frontally right now. Wonder if it stays like that. Yoshi realizing that walling would be good on the front here. Because Volt just keeps kinda waltzing in, which is very true. The walls would slow down Volt a lot. Anyway, the caravans no longer have a market to go to, and this could be a huge problem for Yoshi. Oh my, what? How? You can't be serious, Yoshi. You got 9 portable rams in a garrison. What? The Tartarian spawns didn't even get to spawn. They're not living up to their names. Okay. That just happened. Yoshi, sometimes your mistakes help you, ladies and gentlemen, so use your mistakes wisely, I guess. Anyway, no build up from Volt just yet. Comes later. The TC drops! The behemoth! Guys, these behemoths are actually super behemoths because they have mythic rejuvenation on top of their intrinsic regeneration. I believe it's 2 HP per second, plus 2 is 4. That's some pretty significant myth unit spam coming out of Volt right now. I love it. 9 rams could be going to town somewhere, gonna take down this singular tower. And then Yoshi can just re-establish his trade once he has the wood for it. He does have a market, he can trade resources, but yeah man, he's lost the TC and Volt could actually claim this first game fairly easily. Running these 6 Lampades into the trade right now would be the sickest play ever, and probably put the game away. That's, I think exactly what we need to see. Now, we've got Yoshi's Hill Fort attempt up here. I wonder if that will work out. Certainly he's got enough resources, that's not the problem. Especially if he trades resources. But yeah, Yoshi's tour might actually fall here. He's splitting up his siege weapons on the houses. So we'll be taking down 3 of them pretty much simultaneously. Now the raiders come in to help, but they're not going to be much use with this many Lampades around. Gaia's Forest is getting used to block the path of the rams a little bit, and we've got 5 citizens here, 6, no, it's 5 citizens protecting against the rams. The throwing axemen are annoying, granted, but Volt re-micros all the buildings onto them, and the villagers' kitchen knives do a lot of damage to rams, as we all know. Alright, looks like the behemoths have been taken down. One of them remains for the moment. Yoshi's starting to lead caravans. He knows he needs to protect himself. He doesn't give Volt the satisfaction of using the Lampades on them. 90 population for Yoshi at the moment as he's losing all the rams to the citizens up here. Granted, Volt is losing some citizens himself, but he's got thousands of resources in the bank. This is completely open and Volt can build up on it anytime he wishes. He doesn't wish right this moment, but anyway, he's starting to lose some Lampades to the hero and in the midst of them. But guess what? The behemoth is still going. It's almost out regenerating the freaking town center, so you need to put something extra on it. Town center really is not safe by itself. Fanatics are gonna tear the cav a new one. The throwing axes are a little harder, but they can beat them in low numbers, that's fine. Okay, Volt getting a little ambitious here. Would have liked to see like a barracks or something. Now let's see if Volt can make use of these Lampades. He does have the resources. He can even do Lampades bombs if he wants. But I guess he's farming their value for the moment. Definitely cannot fight Hearst here. TC might be going down here though. Oh boy. Once the behemoth is back. Nah, he gets frozen again. Lampady somehow managed to kill the hearse here, but there's more of that. Oh my god, he's just converting every single Frost Giant. This is so sick. Alright, Yoshi does save the TC, but what about this? He's out of resources, man. He's deleted so many caravans, he's only got 20 now. He must have lost 30 plus. I don't know if he's done all that deleting himself or if Volt has helped. But he certainly deleted a lot himself. Fanatics are gonna be turned into heroes. They're not particularly high health. But yeah, let's see what they can do here. Plenty of Lampade's alive still and more on the way. So these Frost Giants are not gonna be particularly eventful units, I don't think. Might even turn against Yoshi, for all we know. In worst case, they'll just be chewed up by the Fanatics. Now Volt is force building this TC and gonna lose a lot of citizens in the process. He's down to just 11 citizens, but his army is huge. It's huge. I think the caravans are still going to these shitty markets, guys. They're not going to the long distance one, which means their income is rubbish. Oh no, Yoshi hasn't noticed that, and Volt is gonna take the 4th town center. This is looking rather hot right now. Yoshi down to just 94 population. He's trying another counterattack, but there's citizens here. There's the TC's arrow fire at the very least to help protect against the ram. His building is regenerating, of course. And he's gonna just garrison across the citizen momentarily. He's in Yoshi's trade again. Here come the Lampades. The 4th TC definitely coming up as far as I can tell. And Yoshi gives up. What a great first game. This was amazing. And Gaia, no less. Gaia. We don't see a whole lot of that, but sure appreciate when we do. Volt outkilled Yoshi. And I don't think Yoshi was ready for this matchup. 30 Lampades have been made in this game. Oh my goodness. Welcome to Tundra for game 2 here. They switched the colors. Yoshi is now blue, playing as 4. And in the red color, we have got Volt playing as Isis, of all things. He's not mercenary Russian in this one at all. But he's going for triple barracks, which means a slower advance time. But he's getting to make some extra villagers. Very important to put these villagers on the houses while you're making the monuments. But the monument placement is not that critical in this matchup. Although Yoshi might be going for Nephthys Isis against 4. Okay, I'm super curious to see how this goes. Yoshi's gonna be picking up Bragi here. And denying Volt's market for a moment there. But yeah, the Valkyrie gets taken down super quickly as the Pharaoh machine guns her down. So Nephthys Isis has gotten a little bit of a buff for the priest's bonus damage against myth units recently. So that should be rather interesting to see. And Volt picks up the Pelt of Argus, which is going to give his units a little bit more line of sight as well. But yeah, Yoshi with 4 just has a huge play in flaming weapons here, right? You can get a huge flood going and finish it off with flaming weapons, or I think that's actually less likely to succeed here. Look at the priest just absolutely yeeting those battle boars out of the game. I think what's gonna happen is Yoshi is gonna have to play for Ragnarok flaming weapons. That's what probably is gonna happen, because Volt's army just absolutely demolished the little flood that Yoshi got going. It's too little, too late. And he finds the rock egg. So even though he's not half 4, he's still gonna have a rock in 15 or 10 minutes? 10 minutes. Priests are gonna tear the Fire Giant a new one as well. This is actually bonkers. A very high amount of priests, however, so a human army for Yoshi would be devastating, I think, for Volt to face right now. He's trying to take down this hill fort, but that is a little bit ambitious. Sure, it will work, but I think Volt will just lose every single unit that we see on the screen. A little raid from Yoshi, but Volt already has prepared a bunch of camels, and those will be able to at least slow this army down. Of course, the Ozarks have bonus damage, but they're also taking Migdol fire, which is not just a little bit. Scorpion Man also has had a buff. They are at 650 HP and do a lot more damage with the poison. Also got high mummy count already from Volt, already up to 3. The mummies have had a buff for HP. So they are now 450 HP. Setting up the market. 3 TCs for our Egyptian player. Alright, the Fire Giant count is rising and Yoshi has transitioned into a much more cost-effective army with Throwing Axeman and Boxfire gear. Interestingly, he seems to be having almost as many resources as Volt still. We've got 5 mummies ready to eclipse. This is gonna be a sick timing for Volt to hit. He's pushing forward with catapults as well. Clicking into eclipse right now would be fantastic, and he's doing it. Yoshi reaches the 3rd TC, and he's starting up a trade, but they're not rallied. It's entirely possible that Volt just wins this with Eclipse here. Could drain Yoshi's resources quite a bit, but of course no Ancestors has been used, which is fascinating. He could have pushed even harder with that. But so far, all the Fire Giants are staying alive. We've got a little bit of side build action from Volt coming in as well. Sorry, this is Yoshi. So Volt has to deal with that. We've got a monument here to prevent forest fires, but yeah, it's this main push that is much more interesting though. The mummies are kind of getting flanked by the heroes, so that is something that Volt has to deal with. He's got 4 mummies still though, and they're getting Eclipse got a buff as well, where it gives units both hack and pierce armor. It helps against every civ. Back up to 5 mummies, and he's using Ancestors after the fact. Still in this main group here. I'm just super surprised he didn't do that together, because Eclipse also affects the minions, of course. And Ancestors has had a huge buff as well to be relevant in these late game situations. It spawns a lot of them. I think it's like 20 something that gets spawned. Flaming Weapons is used early, and these Baldur raiders with Sons of Sleipnir attached to them will be absolutely deleting the chariots. Even the mummies are having to respect this. The priests are getting wrecked, and Volt is running low on resources. Son of Osiris is going to be used to try to thwart this aggression. Son of Osiris will be regenerating as part of City of the Dead. I think I might have the wrong tooltip mod enabled. It's still showing the original stats and everything, but basically he gets a 1 HP per second regeneration. Yoshi has a lot of raiding cav, oh my god. Okay, but using flaming weapons now and just running around in the middle here does mean that he's getting a lot less juice out of it, essentially. Volt's cleaning up the side build as well. The Son of Osiris does not get surrounded, and he will be able to retreat that then right into the Migdol. Flaming weapons is over, and the remaining minions are actually from mummies, so they're staying up. Gets one of the Fire Giants, might get the other one. Oh my goodness, that's a great trade for Volt once again. Yoshi is running very low on resources. He's got a ton of favor, but he's starting to finally break down these ballista towers. He's got not a lot of villagers, so he can't do an early Ragnarok, and he probably shouldn't anyway. Volt's doing some additional walling, and now that finally the Spearmen and Axemen return to help defend. This is looking rather good. Overall, 76 gold per caravan for the trade is what we've got here. An additional walling is coming up for Volt. I like this little wall. Will slow things down a lot. He's got additional Migdols coming up as well. And kind of pushing through the middle now. Yoshi's making a lot of rams. Surely this is not for a Ragnarok, right? He doesn't have, like, any villagers. Nah, this has got to be a raid by itself. I like the addition of Volkswagen. They'll be able to take care of that infantry together with the throwing axes. I think this is just a normal push. But still, somebody needs to deal with that Son of Osiris. Spearmen are getting on top of the ramps, and the Son of Osiris chain lightning also damaging them significantly. The Son of Osiris himself just kind of acting as a tank because he'll regenerate anyway. As long as Volt doesn't miss micro hugely, this should be fine. I'm gonna convert one of the fire giants as well. And the Boxfighter are basically gone. Son of Osiris lost a quarter of his health. A bunch of ballista would be nice to see. Maybe Volt will allow that getting set up because he's kind of losing a little bit of ground. He's kind of getting raided on the side, and Yoshi has opened this up, looking to do a little bit of damage. Volt fortifying heavily here and making a single merc just in case. Son of Osiris is chilling in the back and regenerating slowly but surely, but the Boxfighter are taking some edge off him, so that's not too bad so far. We've got a bunch of raiding cavalry, and this could be a little bit of a surround. Probably not a kill, but you know, the walls are still available here to run through. Oh my goodness, he's getting so low, 57 health and dropping. He's not moving it away. 20 health, 50, 10, 6, dead. Oh no, that's a huge mistake by Volt and could bite him in the long term. Yoshi might be able to put this game away. Lacking the Son of Osiris, this is the major bonus that you've got as a Nephthys Isis. But of course, you set up well enough, you get these massive prosperities in, as Volt is doing now with 28 villagers on gold. That is fantastic. He's gonna get out a bunch of cavalry mercs. They can still very much contest the middle here. They'll probably die before the timer runs out on them. Getting on top of the ballista, helping a little bit with these Boxfighter. It's all good. It's really good stuff. I would need to see a few Ulfsarks from Yoshi, and he's already switching up to add them. Taking down the catapult, nice value for him once again. How many caravans does Volt even have right now? 19 caravans. It's starting to be a pretty healthy Isis economy overall. He's got very little wood choppers, and he stopped villager production at 66 just so that he can have a bigger army for the moment. Later he can add then further wood peoples. That's totally fine. But yeah, he's about to spawn the rock. Anytime now. Anytime now. No? Should really happen momentarily. I mean, he got it so early. I wonder if he's preparing some siege for it. No. Doesn't look like it. Actually, I should just use this screen. But yeah, he's got like siege towers coming up. No Kopesh. A siege tower plus Kopesh drop would be great, but I think this is undefended enough. Yoshi is not expecting a rock, but I think right now Volt isn't expecting the rock either. Can't be too long now. Well, the side builds have all been cleaned up, but Yoshi is still working on it with the portable ram. Gonna take down the wall, and here's the Ragnarok. Okay. Okay, he's got a decent economy. With 22 caravans behind it, this is much more all-in than the previous games was. But I think Volt is pretty well equipped here. He's fighting on the other side of the map. He's taking down the ramps in Yoshi's face, stopping him from actually just entering this fight. And if Volt can make some extra towers behind all this, then that's sick. Hopefully he will have switched a bunch of units over as well. He's got the rock finally, but I don't think he was expecting it. And certainly Ragnarok is a great time to be rock raiding, but yeah, he's seen it this time. But there's no catapults, so it's gonna be hard to make use of it. Camel still working on the ramps, being a busy bee over there. Half of the Ragnarok is being killed, however, on the way to Volt's base. The walls haven't even been broken yet. And these guys just can't seem to make it through. There's more X-Men and mercenaries coming. Volt's untouchable, man. Okay, there's this group. But, yeah, they also have to work through everything. And they're being followed by mercenaries who are immediately targeting the ramps, the weak spot of this army. And one ram will be going down. 2 rams, maybe. Oh, no. Dude, Yoshi has no power here. What Volt is doing is absolutely sick. He can follow up with a catapult rock drop now. Oh, he's got siege towers. Siege towers are being used. Still no Kopesh. It's just the siege tower drop. We'll have to unqueue a lot of everything else, basically, to make this work. And you know, while Volt is losing a bunch of barracks in the middle of nowhere, he doesn't care about those. He just remakes them with the 4 villagers he's got here. Granted, Yoshi's getting some cost-effective-ish trades, but he doesn't have an eco behind this. So yeah, he's got a bunch of fire giants, but that's about it. The farming has stopped. Never started, probably. Yoshi will have to remake that economy. He's got a little bit of that already on the way, so the Ragnarok is essentially over. And the siege tower attack absolutely failed. Yeah, Volt tried, but I think what he really needs is catapults. He's just adding them from control groups. He didn't look at how much is already in the queue, I don't think. So we might not get to see that, as I don't think Yoshi is gonna stay in this game too much longer. Will he be able to rebuild? Yes. But does he feel maybe tilted at this point? Possibly. Possibly, but Yoshi is a bit of a cockroach. He doesn't just give up and die, right? Fire giants are around the rock, so this could be a good opportunity to take it down and then reset the timer for another 10 minutes. I think Volt will notice that, however, and saves the rock. Got a bunch of priests around to deal with the fire giants. There's not much other army for Yoshi whatsoever, so he can't deal with the priests himself. Volt's ISIS is looking absolutely sick. Could this be the first time that, in a very long time, by the way, that Yoshi loses to him? It seems entirely within reach, guys. It's kinda cool. Very slow push by Volt. He's setting up a bunch of extra siege works. He's making some mercenaries to bolster his attack, but yeah, no catapults means that he just can't siege the CC. There's no way that the siege tower can do anything here. Yeah, see, 2 volleys from the throwing axes and it's gone. But Volt is consistently making progress. Oh, what is this? He's shift-clicking his walls? That doesn't work. That doesn't work because they just end up overlapping. Anyway, new siege works are done. And we've got a catapult coming in. Volt keeps taking cost-effective fights-ish. The kill-to-death ratio is currently 600 for Yoshi in favor to 424 for Volt. But yeah, cost-effectiveness-wise, Volt is doing a lot better. Losing all these cheap barracks units and the mercs and minions especially. I like the addition of the Scorpion, man. That's gonna be very nice here. It's got all this wood that's been unused, right? Oh, here it comes. This is the killer. This is the killer. I like the wall a lot. Put one catapult in there with all these towers. Repair these walls and should be good to go from there. I don't think that Yoshi is able to attack from any side whatsoever. This side TC sort of setup is kind of working out for Isis very well. You know, it can be always a little bit more aggressive than this, but Yoshi hasn't been able to knock down the forward TC at the beginning of the game and hasn't been able to get any momentum. The Ragnarok flaming weapons did not happen because we've had an early flaming weapons, and now Volt has been in control for the rest of the whole thing. Looks like the wall will come up too, but Yoshi has a little bit of aggression going here, but GG is gonna be called. Not gonna be able to prevent the wall from coming up. Very clean game from Volt once again. That sound for Cyrus was glitching. Oh, okay. Yeah, that happens. Sometimes commands get dropped, so very unfortunate for Volt, but I mean, if he had kept that alive, the game would have been over even sooner. Right, so there was a bit of an interruption in this series. Had to be rescheduled, so here we are now with Game 3. Lightning Volt playing as Shenong in the blue color, and in the red color playing as 4. It is the 4 player. Moving forward, just one Osark, but is gonna get caught by the Scout Cavalry, absolutely no doubt about it. For Seti gonna be picked. Is this a super Osark build? For Yoshi, it's very possible that he's just gonna go up Bragi and then Tyr. But yeah, very focused on that front, and so is Volt really. Mostly War Academies, so I'm guessing he's interested in Halberdiers. We've got the Monkey Kings, and he'll also have the speedy units through the Great Journey God Power. You've also got Shonkei, going to result in all of these houses getting absolutely wrecked by roots. It seems that nobody is preparing for it, myself included, to be completely honest with you all. You gotta respect that God Power a lot and spread out your houses, like some here, some here. You can't cover everything then, you know? I think that's very important to do. Mounted archers are interesting to see here. I wouldn't have expected any cavalry from Yoshi, but yeah, these guys did get a bit of a buff recently so that they have 6 track rating, being able to hit almost all cavalry in the game. Ao Kuang, of course, as the 4th god for Lightning Volt here. His houses are a little bit behind. You kind of want to have 2 villagers on the job. But other than that, he's doing everything correctly. Of course he is, because he's one of the top DM players, and he's giving Yoshi the business, to say the least. He's also picked up the Osseberg Wagon for other relics. We've got the Blanket of Empress Zoe for crush vulnerability for buildings. Then we've got the Veget Eye. Now let's hide this interface. Which is cheaper myth units. Nice takedown on that hill fort, by the way. And now the Osarks are gonna have to fight the Halberdiers and the Cataphracts. Not the easiest of jobs, but because these are super Osarks indeed with Tyr and Bragi, so they're gonna have Berserker Gang, giving them more hit points and damage. Then they've got Call of Valhalla, even more hit points. A Swine Array, so they're absolutely wrecking every cavalry unit in the game, including Cataphracts. But Halberdiers. These are super Halberdiers, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Paper Talisman for them, which gives them hack damage and pierce vulnerability. We've got Dragon Scales, which gives them a lot of hack vulnerability reductions. And we've got Unbridled Anger, giving them hit points and bonus versus Cav. So, I don't expect too much Champion Raider usage from Yoshi either, although maybe he'll mix in a little bit. You do want to keep the Shenong Fire Lancers in check, but it seems like Volt has got really good map control. He's going to have 3 TCs relatively early in the game. And this time around, Yoshi doesn't have Forest Fire, considering he went for what's his face? For Seti. So he's got the Healing Spring, and eventually I'm guessing he's going to start making Fenris Wolves. Got the back TC covered. Have you checked the relic back here? Girdle of Hippolyta. That's great for a little bit of health boost. Monkey's delivering some great stunts, and so far the kill to death ratio has got to be fantastic for Volt. He's still getting through this little wall that Yoshi wasn't able to finish off, and nabbing the first ballista. The second one I do think we'll be able to reset this TC pretty much fully though. If Yoshi will micro it. Oh, it's shooting units, and it looks like the castle is doing a number to this thing. Bear in mind, Ballista don't have a lot of HP, and each of these arrows does 1 damage minimum. The castle firing 3 arrows at a time, of course, so 3 damage per volley, and you can see how fast those volleys are. Anyways, the Ballista is finally gonna get some shots down, but Volt's reacting with his own sitting tiger, and thanks to the relic, the Manhunt of Empress Zoe is taking a little bit less damage here on the base. The front doesn't look very contested right now, but now that Yoshi has finished the third TC, he's getting a lot of extra units, and the builders themselves will be joining the battle. Whereas Volt is setting up a little bit of farming a little bit everywhere, which is supposedly the right way to do things to mitigate risk, right? All makes sense. Of course, Shenong now starting to enter that mid-game phase where he's so comfortable. Yoshi used up all the gold in the world. What is going on here? Has he queued up a lot of units? Well, he's queued up the caravans preemptively, which is fine because that way he can keep the number in control and not overmake them. So I'm guessing he's gonna have a fantastic flaming weapons push, and hopefully he'll cover that with Fimbulwinter as well, so that the whole entirety of it can actually do the work. Oh no, he's not doing that, which means Volt might have the opportunity to blast this whole thing with Great Flood and just get rid of the units on the front line here. Looks like Volt is gonna use his speed to get the units over here. And Yoshi's using an aggressive healing spring, which might very well be captured by Volt here. Our boy is running out of resources, to be honest. The Ram's doing a little bit of damage behind all this. The TC not really getting too much or any repairing whatsoever, but Flood is gonna be used, getting rid of his Flaming Weapons army, putting it across the map all the way. It doesn't do too much damage on the DM patch, by the way. It's been significantly nerfed, but it still did some damage, and most importantly, it displaced the army. The TC does fall in the front, and Fimbulwinter is on. Has spawned a lot of wolves, including on the front TC, helping out Yoshi's business here. But our Norse boy has lost so much population, and then we've got these 7.42 speed Azure Dragons just zooming across the map, but not really finding any economic damage. Yoshi's trade is starting to look pretty good, by the way. He's also got sufficient gold mining now, so he can support his lifestyle for a long time. Or so we think. So we think. Looks like Volt is actually using gardens currently to generate food. He really does not want to run out of food. Gotta make these halberdiers day in, day out. Let's take a look at that overall kill to death so far. So Volt is a little bit ahead of Yoshi, but yeah, this is not something that Yoshi can't rectify still. I'm really liking the combination of Ovsark and Huskarl, but it seems like the Halberdier are dealing with it rather well. With the entirety of Volt's army getting a little bit of healing here from the spring. That is all pretty useful stuff. Could kill off him to get out a bunch of fire lances. They're really, really strong, both against archers and buildings here, of course. Look at that splash damage just taking down the Boxweiger. Very nice stuff. It doesn't look like Yoshi is able to really bring through anything to stop this TC just yet, but he's fighting up in population, although he just ran out of all food, and because he's underdone the food gathering, he's not going to be able to make Fenris Wolves now, which have been switched to a food cost from gold, because Norse players just went heavy on trade and then they could do whatever they wanted. But anyway, here comes Uproot, and that is going to delete the houses as we talked about early in the game, putting Yoshi down to ridiculously low population levels. He doesn't have wood. He has to stop all his production of everything right now in order to be able to remake the houses. He's currently making several postcards at the same time and throwing axes. If he stops all of that, he can maybe remake the houses just in time. He can sell a little bit of resources, of course. So that should be all good, all things considered. I like the addition of the battle boards for the moment because he does have the gold, right? The Wolfies, they can come later. They can hit the trade and whatnot. So China doesn't have a whole lot of mobility here, especially Shenong doesn't have a lot of mobility, but they do have the death balling. So you build up, you get these fire lancers, you start wall pushes, and these tightly packed formations are gonna struggle. Highly advisable to get a little bit of spread formation stuff going. Volt also really likes to go all in, so we've got a high amount of fire lances here who are currently invisible. They are missing actually the flailing animation, so good shit. Or not. He's got the TC back. Very good news for Volt again. He's running extra low on food. He's not spending too much off that right now. He's still, of course, making caravans. He's gonna be wanting to make a few more villagers, I think. At 47, that is a pretty low number, but this is Volt's playstyle and it can hit super, super hard. Yoshi currently doesn't have a big enough army to really take this on, and it makes me a little worried. It makes me a little worried. The halberdiers are just producing so much value up front here, but Jarl's not really able to take them on directly due to these extremely high stats that these guys have. What does Yoshi really have to offer at this point? He's got 120 population, and although he's pushing forward with the battle boars, it seems like the fire lances are kind of taking care of the problem. With their high crush damage, the myth units aren't particularly safe anymore. It's gonna be very important to flank those with some raiding cav, and also a battle boar in the back would be very nice. The fire lancers can't hit the moving battle boars, and then they can kick him around and stuff. Oh, Volt is stepping a little bit too far forward. So if the battle boars do their kicks in the middle, that is going to get them into trouble. Can those fire lancers actually snipe this town center? That's ridiculous. No way. No way, but Yoshi's spreading too much onto this flank, so it's entirely possible that they will get this kill, as they have this pretty big multiplier against town centers. Oh my god. He got the freaking kill, unbelievable. And he's gonna be able to remake them as well. They are not that expensive. But now Yoshi has this big army to maybe counterattack with. Yoshi also hitting the trade, but this is kind of something that Volt is ready for. So it's not gonna be too much of a problem. A hill fort is an ambitious building to try and make here. Maybe it's something worth considering for Yoshi to transform a few of these villagers into Ulfsarks and build his TC up a little bit faster. Because if Volt can just send out a few units to try and counter, to reset that TC again, I'm not really sure what Yoshi's next move would be. And yeah, he abandons the plans to make the hill fort. It was too ambitious for sure. Getting the market was very doable though, but there's another. There is another. I'm not sure Yoshi's aware. That's another full reset on that TC, it looks like. Ay, ay, ay. Yoshi is in serious trouble sauce. The kill death count is still much ahead for Volt. Actually, he's gotten more ahead than he was before. 402 versus 336. And if he can maintain this population lead as well, there's basically no stopping the fire lances at that point. Once again, Yoshi does not have raiding cav. It's gonna be very problematic to get to these things. The Huskarl have some good armor, but they're still taking quite a beating, especially against these cataphracts. We have absolutely sick pack armor here. And these side builds have been controlled very well. Yoshi has never been able to come up here. Volt on his minimal economy, just on 55 villagers, by the way, is super comfortable. What can Yoshi really do at this point? Doesn't have the food for a wolf transition, and nor does he have the income for it. So I guess he's just continuing the same thing, but do you expect different results from that? I would say probably not, but maybe with the best possible micro on battle boars, just getting in, doing a kick, retreating, coming back in, that could work. But now Volt is putting up a sitting tiger who also has bonus damage against buildings. And drastically damaging this DC. That's a full reset again. I'm just not sure that Yoshi can really make this work at this point. Battle Wars come in again and again to disrupt the formations, but is this actually enough of an army to actually make a difference? So much healing is coming through for Volt as well. This is not a very fast rate by any means, but every little bit counts. Very one-fronted fight. And Yoshi's just not able to change up the location here. Got a bunch of Huskar ready to go again. So once again he'll build. Wow. Volt is playing to win today. A 4th layer to the walling. Yoshi could probably come in through this one that he made. It's gonna be very, very difficult to break through the castles. And we've got Timber Harvest for Volt. He doesn't switch too many villagers to the job, which would be, I think, a good move to just, you know, pull off the gold villagers here for a moment, get a little bit of wood access, and then put them back. Once again, we have a little reset with just 2 fire lances. It's so annoying. Yoshi will just need to keep a few raiders handy in order to make some counter moves with that. The generals are getting added to the fight, which will further boost the fire lances. Especially if you can keep the general alive, you can produce so much value over time. Yeah man, Yoshi's in trouble. Kinda just running out of steam here. One more counter attack, but now he has to deal with an additional tower. And more coming up. But the villagers will be little meat shields here, while the army is actually dealing with the Norse units. Have to highly favor Volt at this point, as he's ahead by more than 100 kills. The Fire Lance is once again stepping forward, looking to take down further buildings. There's a bunch of towers here, I guess. They aren't of much consequence, but you could take down the hill forts. That would be much scarier. It doesn't look like the damage from the Huskar amounts to much here. It's really just a numbers game. Finally manages to take down the fire lances. Will just remakes them, however. In fact, it seems like he just made more halberdiers than anything. Yeah, he has 12 halberdiers right now. All the immortals are out, bar 1. Same with the generals. Need one more. He's just not making myth units. He's happy to use the gardens for other income, it seems. Looks like it seems to be on wood at the moment. Yeah, because the favor is not going up for him. Battleborn has some unlucky pathing here, and Volt also notices the gold miners and immediately switches over the halberdier. Yoshi has to resign. There's no way he can get through the towers and everything else all at once. So yeah, very solid game by Volt for sure. And he's only 1 point away from taking down Yoshi completely and moving into the grand finals, whereas Yoshi would have to go to the losers finals at this point. Yeah, so Volt just went for a smaller economy at first, and once he had the advantage, he made it bigger. All makes perfect sense. Overall, he's been outgathered a lot by Yoshi, but the kill to death made up for it. Finally, we're here with game 4. On Savannah, Lightning Volt is gonna be picking Kronos in this one. And on the other side, maybe a little bit stubborn with his best god. Yoshi is playing 4, but does Volt have him just simply put figured out? Picking all these so-called counter gods against him. I'm not sure if that's entirely true, by the way, that Kronos counters 4, but I know myself it's not an easy matchup to face. As Norse, you basically are praying for side TCs, which this kinda is, but they're also kinda forward. So, you know, it's not the most ideal setup possible. We can also put on the Fog of War here, of course. Anyways, we've got double side build from Yoshi. A little bit of a SimCity in the back base. He's already going for several hill forts near the main. Prometheus might actually hit him, and it's interesting that Volt actually went for Prometheus, as he normally goes for Leto. But that only provides you with Pierce armor, so it's understandable that he preferred the recently buffed Prometheus path, which Valor now gives you basically more heroes, including 2 citizens and 5 humans. And the actual hero conversion is cheaper thanks to Heart of the Titans. It says 25%. I think it might be 30 now, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that one. I'm thinking this is the correct tooltip this time. Murmillo catches the side build a little bit. Volt's coming through with the Heck Giant. He always likes to make the extra satyrs as well, which is super interesting. Yoshi just watchtower spamming up front. Would like to see some hill forts here as well. Ideally like 3, because you don't want to undermake him against Kronos. He'll just deconstruct and then you're naked. Same in the side builds. But yeah, Volt is pretty well equipped here. He's towering up. He's got a relic Tower of Cestus so far, which basically undoes all the past tower nerfs. Like a giant could technically reset the TC and then even go for the houses maybe. Although Yoshi is doing well with making a lot of frost giants, so the Hekkas aren't gonna have the best of times. Adding a bunch of throwing axemen also always a good idea here, but Volt is going for the heavily regenerating Atlantean army here. Lots of heroes with high stats, with regeneration from Hyperion, of course. But his endgame is the vortexes. Yoshi trying to defend, but he doesn't have towers in the back. He's gone very naked, really relying on side builds here. Plenty of longhouses, got the temple as well for fire giants. I like the idea, The front TC is now done, which means that he would be able to reinforce both the front and a little bit of the back could be refocused again. Meanwhile, Volt is about to hit the free town center state. Already starting a little bit of gold mining from here. I think these guys might be hunting. There's no side build on this side at all, so Volt will be able to mark it up and wall up. Maybe even some side build palaces from our Atlantean player. Very interesting. And I don't think Yoshi's noticing it. In fact, he's not building his back TC, which is a huge issue. He grabs his idols, goes forward, but he realizes the issue with that. So hopefully this time he will make a few towers and hill force down there. But yeah, Chaos is gonna hit Throwing Axeman and the Fire Giant. So Volt has a lot of allies now suddenly to help him out. Yoshi retreating to make Volt deal with the Fire Giant. Yeah, we've got a good amount of Baldur Rams. Maybe they could knock down at least a manor or two. Of course, the Baldur raiding cav getting the big bonus damage against Arcus. But the Sons of Sleipnir attack doesn't actually affect their bonus against Siege. That just remains double bonus. Still, that's pretty nice against these Fire Siphons with their high speed from Thundering Hoofs. Very easy to catch up with the Fire Siphons, but yeah, Volt's already preparing for the Vortex. Can he actually get it in before this TC comes up? And if he does, Yoshi will have Frost ready, so I'm not so sure it's the best idea. But with Frost, you kind of have to wait until the Vortex actually has happened. Otherwise, you'll just freeze half the army and the other half just still comes through and starts sieging your TC. That said, Yoshi has enough army around to just stop this outright. And he gets Raiding Cav on top of the Fire Siphons. So this is looking like some real good value for our man here. The Ballista push is looking rather strong as well. But Volt has cleaned up on the side. He also has Fire Siphons here. And once he takes control of this area, it's gonna be mighty fine. Bunch of caravans coming up. He's once again careful not to overdo the citizen game. I don't think he's actually producing anymore. At 16, he's kind of a happy chap. Coming in with Catapulties now, but these are Kronos Catapulties, so they don't have a speed buff like the Oranos ones, or at least the Oceanus ones, meaning the Ballista can actually hit them. If Yoshi can build up to a big Ragnarok here, that would be sick. He's currently got 19 villagers, very little caravans, however, but he's working on it. He's working on it, double producing them. Maybe it would be a good idea to spend a little bit of food instead of gold for the moment. If you could add some Valkyries, even, I'm not even kidding, because he's about to run out, and you don't want to stay under-popped against a Kronos player that can be aggressive in this form. Oh god, here they come. Those Fire Siphons might need to be frozen. I don't think Yoshi wants to freeze it though. This is... oh, this is not great for him. Dude, the portable rams are attacking the Fanatics, not the Siphons, and there were no raiding cav to escort. Volt will be able to do a Vortex on the back TC if he chooses to. There are a lot of Frost Giants here, so maybe not. Maybe not the best of timings. He can wait this out. Slow push a little bit. Actually, he probably should focus on his own economy. Considering his food is also in the gutter. Maybe time to stop making caravans. But hey, he's full pop. As long as he only cares about making Fire Siphons right now, he can do that. He's got the wood and gold, just not the food, really. Now the deconstruction is going to be used on this frontal hill fort. Several of the towers have gone down, but the raiding cav are finally here to answer. All those Fire Siphon had to pay. Doesn't look like he's making any more right this second. Still had an auto queue of Fanatics for a while. We don't have a full wall, so Yoshi could always just walk through and create trouble in the back. I think that's exactly what he's planning to do with this one hearse here that he's got. Rams are trying to get through the front as well, but there are Fanatics and Catapulties greeting them. It's way too much hack damage. These guys can't stand it. Valor's gonna be used on the front line once again. All these citizens are already heroes. Now a ton of units are joining the fray as well. Right, Yoshi finally restarting this town center. This is tough. This is tough as Volt is re-establishing his economy fully. Chaos is gonna be used on the front line, grabbing the weakest of Frost Giants though, so that's, I guess, a little bit lucky. Lucky for Yoshi, that is. Would like to see more than just 4 games. But Volt just catches everything. He saw the side build, he sent a Fanatic. Yoshi can't get anything done here, man. How many caravans is that? 25, that's more than enough. Volt can do this all day. And I just don't see how Yoshi's going to re-establish this CC. Maybe a frost would be needed. It's the only way forward I see. He's trying to bait a lot of shots with this Champion Raider. Good job with the micro there, but there's just too many units and Volt is plowing on through. Ragnarok could be on the table to try to rebuild as well, but you really don't want to use your god powers in that way. It's too much of a disadvantage if you have to. Bear in mind, Volt has one more deconstruction coming up later as well, so if he can keep this 3 versus 2 TC situation going, Yoshi will be in exceedingly more trouble unless he can really start a front up. Wall this trade-off, something, you know, something needs to change here for our Norse player or else. Swanhurst here really trying to get the TC going. The Heka Giant comes through, however. Boxweiger are not shooting him. At least not until it's too late. The Siphons are plowing through the home base as well. How many health forts remain at this point? Not many. Not many. He's gonna pull them back. Losing several Siphons in the process. Looks like 2 health forts for Yoshi. It's just about enough to maintain production. You would want at least 3, I think, but it will do for now. The problem is the deconstructs are coming up, and the priority has to be to make this TC work. Volt's looking. He's looking for the vortex, I think. He's got enough fire siphons to do it with. Oh, yeah, he's paying attention now. Yoshi's gonna have to freeze this one. Maybe he can rebuild the TC in time. But yeah, his own back town center will not be able to hold this. Funnily enough, he's using Ragnarok to try to defend, but there's not enough surface area here. The fire siphons alone will be able to destroy this TC. So without Frost, he's not gonna go back to 3 town centers himself. He's over pop anyway, so it wouldn't help. This is gonna gut his trade. The heroes do clean up, however, and give him a lot of favor, as all these units are getting destroyed. He will go closer and closer to having 100 favor. So you have to manage that favor limit and make some additional temples too. The front TC might be hit here by the fire siphons and be a little bit body blocked. Oh, one shot goes through, and we've got the Heka Giant, of course, doing the business as well. Yoshi moving some of the heroes around to help out. But there's so much more coming in. Same goes for the Ragnarok heroes, however. So Yoshi will be able to rebuild this. He's got 5k gold in the bank. He's got a lot of caravans here. Total of 31. Yeah, this should be rebuildable. Ragnarok heroes build super fast. Same with hers here. So as long as you can keep this at bay, maybe even freeze it to slow down Volt a little bit. We'll wait for the next vortex and freeze that. That's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. I kind of wish he had restarted his trade already though with the main TC, but that doesn't seem to be the plan. I hope he doesn't attack with these Ragnarok heroes. He needs everything on defense right now. And going for that cost efficiency. Oh no. Oh no, he's gonna crash into the palaces. Maybe taking out these citizens is a good idea though. That I can actually endorse. If you could get into the trade route and wall it off, that would be very neat as well. But I think it's time to leave this area, as the fanatics will just eventually whittle down the Rag heroes. With so much firepower behind them available as well. Yoshi gets back to 3rd town center. There's actually a hope here for our Norse player now. Raiding Cav getting on top of the Carol Ballista, very nice micro, for sure. But yeah, the palaces just are shooting the Rag heroes to pieces. And the trade is the main objective. You stop that, Volt no longer has gold income, as he's got 0 people on gold. He does have some gold mines available, but they're not particularly attractive locations. Certainly not fortified. The excessive use of Chiral Ballista might be becoming a problem for Volt. I think he needs to go a little bit heavier on the food units here. So that's Fnatic and Quintarius. with a little bit of Arcus. Oh, we've got a sneaky Fire Siphon again. I think he doesn't want to attract attention to it, so he's not going to use Deconstruct on this hill fort, even though it's perfectly available. The Ballista might be able to take care of the Fire Siphon, but I just wish Yoshi had a single raiding calf there to help protect. Okay, this is not going to go down, but Volt did some considerable damage to the TC that needs to be repaired. Yoshi doesn't have a whole lot of resources in the bank right this moment. He's got a bunch of idle villagers too. The hunters actually could be going after the rhinos. Maybe we'll see some of that, but his population is rapidly dropping. And as he enters this extended fighting against Volt, he has a really decent economy, by the way. I'm not sure that this is going to work out, but he's got the 4 ballista. So maybe, just maybe, there's hope there for Yoshi. Okay, the trade is going to be going back with a load of gold. There is almost 3,000 gold in that trip, by the way. So, this is going to be noticeable. Fire Siphon entering the main base. There is not much for Volt here. He will need to be patient and wait for a few more units to pop out. Fire Siphons and the like, especially. But if you can hit that back TC with like 145 pop, that would be nice. However, he will face 4 ballista sieging down his front. That ain't gonna be easy to deal with. And the Heka gets frozen. Oh, the Fire Siphon just goes down in time. As the champion throwing X-Men count grows, you wanna reduce the number of fanatics you're using and switch to a little bit of Arcus. Bubble is doing a really good job buying time with these Cantarius now. As basically nothing is hitting them. Good patrol micro there. Heka Giant once again getting caught by a Frost Giant, and the Ballista just absolutely demolish it. So what's next for Volt? How does he make an aggressive play from here against a fully established Norse player? Which Yoshi only really misses one thing. It's, well, 2 things. It's a side build, which he's got a little bit of a start off. And the other thing is towers up front. If he had a tower push with walls, these Ballista would become invincible to Volt. Chronos doesn't have very good means to destroy that. But at the same time, Yoshi's economy is kind of struggling still. His trade is kicking in. And his hunt is finally kicking in. Finally, he's got enough people on the forests too. And gold mining. So actually, you know what? His economy is no longer weak. A little bit bigger would be good. But not super required. I am wondering, does Yoshi aggressively freeze here? Because if we use Frost, caught a bunch of villagers, caught all the units of Volt, and has a bunch of siege, he might just be able to plow through this and push hard. We've got 2 siphons in the back again. There's no defenders. Villagers can of course smack these with the kitchen knives. But if Yoshi doesn't notice, that could be a huge issue. Frost is available for that vortex. And now Yoshi actually knows it's happening. He can kill the front TC. He can freeze this. And just allow his trade to continue to work. That's exactly what's going to be happening. The villagers are kitchen knifing the units a little bit, as it doesn't really matter what's attacking. These guys have 99% armor, so it's 1 damage no matter what hits. Oh, a citizen is coming forward, and there's very little units on it, so it could technically shank all these ballista down, but not before this town center of Volts is also destroyed. Still, some nice shanks coming through. However, I have to say that Yoshi's not dealing with the army in his back base. He's gonna be looking to stay aggressive, wall off the trade, I assume, get a side build going in it, and only now is he sending units to the back. There's a lot of fanatics in here. 1 Fire Siphon is destroyed by the villagers, so good job there, but now they're gonna be killed themselves. So best run away with those. TC will probably just go down. Even if all these raiding cav went after the fire siphons, I'm not sure if that's actually enough army. The villagers pop through the dwarfs, I mean. Ooh, are these siphon gonna actually destroy the TC or what? Oh my god, Yoshi holds it. His walling operations are moving along pretty well too. This is looking great for our Norse player. How does Volt even recover from this at this point? The vortex completely failed, fell flat on its face. His trade is cut off. He no longer has a gold income. So he's shifting over his market to, I don't know where actually. From here in the back corner to the front TC would be a good path. But is that one he can take? I can't see the freaking market. There's one original market here, I guess. It's not done anything else with it. The front TC is getting sieged. Oh, Yoshi has not sent the raiders forward. He lost the front TC just now. This might be Volt's way back into the game. He does have access to time shifting. It's expensive, but a little bit of tower action in this trade could do a lot. Maybe you can even just put down military barracks and lock down the area completely. That's actually a very cheap method of going about this. The TC will probably not come up here as Yoshi gets in with another ram. And that looks like full reset to me. Clashing onto the palace now. But Volt enters the trade. Yoshi has so much gold right now. I would say it's time to transform a lot of villagers into Ulfsarks and keep the push going. Get a little defending going with them as well. But I think he's just allowing himself to over-eco. I'm not sure why he's burning this particular forest. Oh, that is where the market went. I see. So it's still pretty decent overall. Like, that's a good amount of income for Volt, who doesn't actually need that much at this point. But does he have a lot of units? Absolutely not. He's mostly fighting with buildings at this point. As the Atlantean economy kind of falls apart in the later game, the population efficiency of your citizens is just not that great. You would kind of need to be Gaia on the DM patch. The heroes get a little bit of a boost. First off, they're all free population, but the Gaia ones get a boost on top of that. With a little bit more gather rate. Yoshi losing a few of these villagers is actually good news right now. Although I do wish he had made them into Ulfsarks. He's got some Ram and Huskal and Raiding Cav and Throwing Axe attacks going in the back. Maybe he can hit the main base with that. But he's completely giving up on his trade. He's got 8k in the bank. So I guess he's happy with the shorter trade now. And yeah, he's going into the main, but the Rams don't have the escort that I was praising earlier. So if Yoshi kind of just falls apart now, Volt can drain him of his non-gold resources. Yoshi will be forced into selling resources at a not so great rate. And I'm not sure that these Rams can actually ever make it through. The caravans just keep stopping them, honestly. Sure, a few hits will happen, but this is not worth 600 resources there. Gonna be a whole lot more resources as these units are dying. And we've got another Vortex. He's hitting the back TC. He's got at least 2 Heka Giants total. One of them dies on the spot. The Arcus can get to work on those caravans. Nice knockback as well from the Heka. He actually is only interested in the caravans, it seems. TC will focus the Heka, of course. And Yoshi manages to get another reset. Can he get his own base back up and running? Doesn't have a lot of resources anymore. The gold is running low and it's a short route, so they keep going through this patch every now and then. All these caravans will go down for Yoshi. The TC just about managing to survive for the moment, but at what cost? All these caravans toast, man. Yoshi doesn't have a whole lot of population overall, and Volt has time shifted his market into the bottom spot. All he needs to do is destroy the wall in one place. Very possible that Yoshi will be able to get this TC now, finally, that he's escorting his Rams. But does need to be careful still. You need a little bit of micro to run away from these villagers and protect the Rams as much as possible. 2 villagers down, and the last one hides in the TC. The Ram getting knocked by the Heka Giant a little bit. How many caravans were killed here? Almost all of them. Yoshi had like 31. Half of them are dead. Caravan and market is remade, but Yoshi now on 1 town center to 2. One absolute dumpster fire of a game. Full-on base trade situation. I would like to see Volt time shifting some buildings here at least. Currently he's going for the house destruction. Even the archers can take that down. It's a pretty light building. It looks like Volt's main TC is dead. Thanks to the raiding cav doing their attacks there as well. He's trying to rebuild the front, but good luck for that. Yoshi, however, with very little resources, very little population, and an army that kind of counters his, might be in a little bit of trouble there. Caravans are taking the long way home. 119 gold per trip though, so it's well worth it. It's well worth it. Houses are being destroyed for Yoshi, just can't keep population, man. Really trying to remake his woodcutters, but it's slow going. Oh my god. How is this even a thing? What a crazy game. Dude, if Yoshi goes out in this way, he's gonna be extra mad at himself. Rewatching this, seeing your population count being that low is one of the most frustrating things, especially when you know you have the resources to do more. Oh, the Ram. Oh, it gets the TC. Okay, okay. Dude, otherwise Wolf just wins 4-0. That is not the situation that Yoshi wants to be in, of course. Got Contarious heroes. They could go after the tower. They could just run after the caravans. They are particularly low health at this point. So time shifting further towers into this area would be pretty good. Looks like Volt's caravans have stopped as he time shifted away the market again. So having to deal with Yoshi's counterattacks. But yeah, several houses were destroyed. Excuse me, and Yoshi is not quite able to re-establish himself. He's turtled in his main base. He's trying to do what he can here, but little does he know about these caravans. I think he can actually see them though. It should be very visible through these walls. I mean, they're going next to this longhouse anyway, so... Oh, no, they're going out of that. Just by a little. Wow. Yeah, if he knew that, if he went after that with raiders, I think this would be a very different game very soon. Lots of Rams getting added to the fight now, and Volt doesn't have all that many units. He's had some on the counterattack, right? But those units will probably serve him better in the main fight. Lots of archers getting turned into heroes. He's no longer really making Heka Giants, so this is the only lifeline he's got. You'll need every single one to fight against those throwing axes who are actually taking down some of these. Yeah, Yoshi's gold bank is essentially drained. So very well done to Volt with that. He's still got his own trade going. Yoshi's trade is not a trade anymore. These guys produce actually 0 gold at this point. They just exist there. 16 population not doing anything. The Contarious have done their job, I guess. Yoshi will have to make a new market somewhere. Otherwise he has essentially only wood income, which is not acceptable. See what he can do. Some of these side builds are still around, but they're not doing anything. He's got a mass throwing axeman army again. And the Rams can go after the Chiral Ballista. They also are really good at tanking the Arcus shots, of course, which is exactly what's happening. Oh man, Volt has to pull home. Here's Contarious to help out with all this. Of course, the villagers are stabbing the portable rams to death. Now the palace is helping out against all of these throwing axes. Citizens being quite tanky here as well, of course. They're regenerating while the archers are just sniping these bad boys. Another ram attack is ready, but Yoshi's out of gold. That's it. This is the last hurrah. Either he makes a caravan economy that actually works, or he's toast. This is one last chance for Yoshi. Even on 1 TC, Volt will be able to deal with the rest. If he just manages this one army, all he's got to do is pull back to the palace, or keep Yoshi in this awkward position where he doesn't get anything done. That said, if Yoshi does find this caravan route, oh boy, I think it should be visible now. Where's the market, dude? He's not making a new market. Yeah, absolutely no new market coming. The caravans are found. Yoshi's absolutely wrecking them. Oh my god. Taking them down one by one. The villager kill count, the economic unit kill count is going through the roof. Volt is running out of all the caravans he's had. It's 24 more on the field. Excuse me? Oh my god. Yeah, he's gotta be careful to save some of them for later. He's still got 3,000 gold in the bank, so it's not all bad. But it's also not great what just transpired here. Good news for Yoshi, of course. Mining a little bit of gold now. Might want to get that caravan economy going again. Where's the new market, dude? Feel like Yoshi is crumbling under pressure somewhat, although he's got some really good counterattacks going on. This whole caravan destruction business has been running well. Citizens caught as well. Every little bit of economy reduction that he can deal here is fantastic. The wall is not complete, so Volt might not be able to fully regain control over this town center. But it's got a good amount of units here anyway. Gold mines all gobbled up. And here comes the Hacker Giant once again, looking to open up the wall, and with that gain access to a good trade route. Caravans are moving into a really weird spot through the army, so that's gonna hurt. How many does Volt have left? Just 7 caravans! Yoshi just killed like 30. That's crazy. And now with our Norse player down to under 100 population versus 120 off our Atlantean player, who's just maxed out his army thanks to the loss of caravans. This could very quickly turn around in Volt's favor, where he just stops losing units and demolishes the Norse army, having a better mix out in general. So yeah, Yoshi is in serious trouble. Volt regained his second TC. He's going to be going up to 140 population with a ton of Arcus. And if he can just add as little as a few fire siphons, he can actually plow through this. The houses are being destroyed, so Yoshi doesn't even have a chance to get back to full population. What an absolutely crazy game. House counterattacks still happening as the Hacker Giant is now sieging the main base. The caravans sadly just completely useless here. This might be the end for Yoshi. 140 population is reached for Volt, and he's just going after house after house. I'm sure he's losing the caravans, but he doesn't really care as the gold miners are found, and Yoshi doesn't have anything to retreat to or anything to protect him with. And Volt takes a series 4-0 in a super convincing fashion. This last game may be a little bit dicey compared to the rest, but 4-0 against Yoshi, I mean, it's entirely possible Volt is in fact going to be the winner of this tournament at this rate. Very impressive. Looking forward to more. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.